Hello music lovers, welcome to episode 77 of What Makes This Song Special. As always, I've got a song for you, a song that's special to me because it takes me back to a certain story or something significant in my life. A song that has become, I don't know, a part of the soundtrack to my existence here on planet Earth, as it may have also to you. I'll talk a wee bit about the song, I'll tell you the wee story, I'll talk about the song, I'll talk about the singer, the singer's voice, a little bit of a kind of vocal analysis from a sort of vocal coach point of view of the singer's voice, and then we'll do a part two where I will do my own cover version of today's song, which is an interesting one because I've already done a cover version of this song, and that's kind of where the story goes back to. But anyway, I'll go further back at first, and then we'll come back to that. But I actually had a couple of sort of bashes at this YouTube covers thing before, way back when YouTube had maybe only been around for a couple of years. I decided to start a channel, and I made a couple of really poorly recorded videos and posted them on YouTube, and they did pretty well at the time. It was less sort of saturated back then with millions of people all trying to put up cover versions of songs or putting up their own songs. I put some of my original stuff up as well in the past, and at the time, it was before the days of, great camera phones and things. It's crazy to think that wasn't even that long ago, that people didn't have great quality camera phones or affordable digital cameras that you could video, and make recordings on a sort of easy daily basis. Back then it was a wee bit more difficult. So a couple of grainy ones, and then something happened with my email address, and I had to get rid of that channel and start again. And I think I started again maybe 2009, something like that, around about then. 15 years ago now. Doesn't seem like it. And I actually managed to get, I think, a couple of thousand subscribers pretty quickly, which was more than I've got now, even though I've been trying really hard at this for like the last year and a half. But I got them quite quickly, and again, I think it's just because I think there are so many people, talking about music and singing songs and putting cover versions on YouTube these days, that it's much harder to get seen. Back then it was maybe a wee bit easier. So I quickly got, I can't remember exactly how many on the channel, on this channel. And then because I didn't post anything over the years, because I, as I said, I didn't have great recording equipment back then. I also just very soon after that had my first kid, and then I had another two kids. Not me personally, my wife, but we parented 3 kids, and the years just got too busy with the kids, and not to sort of blame them, but yeah, just became unmanageable. And over the years, I had wee sporadic moments of like, I'm going to get back into this, and I'd put up a couple of songs onto the channel. But I did notice that what happened over the years was the subscriptions, because I wasn't posting anything, people just deleted their subscription, unsubscribed over the years, and I went back to maybe a couple of hundred people, which is kind of depressing, but understandable, because if you don't post anything, people eventually just unsubscribe and move on. So yeah, I think so. The story begins, I think, 2016, I think, kind of autumn 2016. And much like I spend my weekdays still to this day, I had a full day of singing students coming into the studio for vocal coaching. The only difference nowadays is that quite a lot of my students are now from different areas of the world, and quite often I'm on Skype and Zoom teaching people in various countries in Europe and America and all that kind of thing. Back then it was very much back to back, one student in, one student out, all kind of mostly face to face. And late mornings, sort of maybe lunchtime, in walked a country singer called LJ McLean, and she used to come in for lessons. And I was never a huge country fan. The odd song here and there that I like, but I find a lot of country music very sort of generic and samey, with much of the same sort of lyrical content and subject matter. I'm sorry for any country fans out there who take offence at this, but it's just never been my favourite genre. As I say, there's the odd song that comes out that I like, but it's not my favourite genre. However, I have had a few country vocal students over the years, and you know, quite often they'll come in and go, I want to sing this song, or they've written a song and I really enjoy the song. So I can't say that I hate country music. I'm sort of backtracking now in case I offend folk, but you know, it's not my favourite, as I said. Okay, so in walks LJ, and she, you know, like I do with most students, we have a wee catch up about life for a few minutes. You know, what's been going on in your week. We do some warm ups and some vocal exercises, you know, specific to what I think she needs. And then we start working on, you know, as I said, breaking some bad habits, building and strengthening some good ones. And then with about 20 minutes left of her lesson, she goes, oh, I've got this new song that, you know, I want to cover. You've got to hear it. It's unbelievable. Wait to hear this guy's voice. And we dive onto YouTube to search for the song in question. And I hear Chris Stapleton's voice for the first time. Wow. You know, like, as I think everybody does when they hear Chris Stapleton's voice for the first time. It's a wow moment. He's got a wow voice. The presence, the gravel, the power. We'll talk about that when I do the wee vocal analysis in a minute. But yeah, I'm blown away by his voice, of course. Hard not to be. And the song's really cool as well. Really, really nice song. It's got cool, amazing riffs in it. Some really nice highs and lows. And it's just, yeah, it's just great. It's really good. We spend the last 15 minutes of the lesson working on the song, with me trying to help her get some of the melody, some of the tone, some of the wee riffs. And when she left, the student who was supposed to come in straight after her never showed up. And I realised, you know, 5-10 minutes in, thinking, right, she's not just late, she's not coming. So I don't really know why. I just... I decided that I wanted to do a cover version of the song Tennessee Whiskey that we'd just been listening to with my previous student. Now, I didn't really know the song. I'd only heard it 20 minutes, 25 minutes before, but I just felt compelled to set up my camera and my microphone and make a video for my YouTube channel. I thought, oh, I could really show off with those cool riffs and all that stuff, and we'll stick it on YouTube and everybody will love it and all that stuff. So I made the recording, edited the video on iMovie, uploaded it all within this hour that I had, because that student hadn't showed up. And I also uploaded it straight to my Facebook page. And then my next student turned up and I went back to work, teaching, singing all day. And a few hours passed. And when I finished, I had my dinner and I checked my phone, almost forgetting about the song and that I'd posted the song. And I had hundreds of Facebook notifications. I can't remember exactly how many, but way more than usual. And they were all coming from this video. And so over the next 48 hours or so, this video went viral on Facebook and started gathering hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views. And I was over the moon. I was like, wow, yes, finally my first viral video. It's happened. You know, I've always wanted a viral video. This is amazing. And then one morning, a few days later, I woke up to a message from Facebook. After all these, you know, days and days of, you know, just the number rising. I can't remember what it got to in the end, but it was in the hundreds of thousands, if not over 1 million views. It was a really viral video. And I woke up to this message saying they'd taken the video down due to copyright infringement. And then an email from Universal Records made its way into my inbox, warning me not to cover songs from their artist, or they would have my Facebook page deleted and all this stuff. So I couldn't believe it. My first ever viral video, and it had been ripped down. And I was so angry, it just made no sense. You know, I'd actually had messages from people asking about the original song, saying to me, oh, who was that? You know, well, I'd actually written by Chris Stapleton anyway, so it's not like I didn't write who it was by. But I had friends message me and say, oh, I love that song. You know, I'm going to download that guy's album and I'm going to have a listen to the original. And so essentially, you know, when you cover a song and you do a good job of it, it becomes like free advertising for the original artist as well. I never understand why any original artist would have been upset by that. And I don't think, to be fair, Chris Stapleton, I'm pretty sure he didn't see my video and then report it to Universal Records. I doubt he knew anything about it. But obviously it was flagged up by Universal because it's their recording and I covered it without permission and all this sort of stuff that I just don't agree with and I don't really understand fully. So anyway, yeah, it's a shame that, you know, me offering free advertising to Chris Stapleton at that point wasn't accepted. But anyway, you know, it happened. I got over it. I was upset, and we move on. So I think maybe a few weeks later, the one I might just remind you of this. The one on YouTube actually was allowed to stay up. So when we'll talk about that in a second, the one on YouTube was allowed to stay up, but because of some rights agreement that Facebook had or didn't have with the record companies at this point, that YouTube did have, the Facebook video was seen as an infringement of copyright. And I was the sort of unlucky recipient of the fallout of that. So a couple of weeks later, I decided to record another song, a James Bay song, Let It Go. I'd been loving his album, The Chaos and the Calm, all of that year. It's just an amazing album. What a debut album. And I thought a piano version of Let It Go would be really cool to do. So I recorded it one afternoon, posted it to Facebook again, stupidly, didn't check to see who owned it. And boom, my Facebook page got suspended for 2 weeks, along with another long email from Universal Records warning me about copyright law and all sorts of things like that. There were lots of clients who would normally contact me through Facebook at the time, a lot of vocal students, people that I was playing gigs for, things like that, and they would contact me through Facebook Messenger, and I couldn't obviously see their messages. I couldn't get into Messenger. I was locked out, so I couldn't get hold of them. They couldn't get hold of me. People who thought my business had folded, and that's why my Facebook page had disappeared. It was an absolute nightmare of a fortnight at the time, all because of Universal Records. So I was disgusted, fed up, raging, all of the above with Universal. And I didn't post anything for ages, especially not to Facebook. I was just done with it. I got so fed up with it, and I don't think I posted a video for quite a long time after that. And then fast forward to a couple of years ago, when I decided to start making a video a week for YouTube again, as many of you who jump on the channel every week to watch my videos, which I'm very grateful for, thank you. You guys know that I try to tell a wee story and do a wee video like this every week, and then also do a cover version every week. And I sort of made that, a year or two ago. I decided I'm going to come back onto the chat. I'm going to, back on the channel, try and push it again. And I was shocked when I realised that Tennessee Whiskey video from that day, 8 years ago or something like that, is at nearly 30,000 views now. I'd kind of forgotten the video was still up. And I listened to it and I just hated it. Like, I don't like it. It's so, I don't know what the word is, but it's just not great. I don't like it. I can tell that I hardly knew the song. Like, I can tell because the riffs aren't the riffs that he does in the song. They're kind of all improvised on the spot. And there's nothing wrong with that. I quite like people improvising their own thing in a cover version, but yeah, those riffs are quite iconic now, and I don't do them properly in that video because as I said, I'd only known the song for half an hour, so it was a real improvisation. There's lots of parts of it I just don't like. I don't love the recording, and it's got lots of lovely comments underneath about how great it is, and I don't agree. So thanks if you've commented on it before, but I don't love that version. And it is my most viewed, I think, or definitely one of my most viewed YouTube videos at 30,000 views. So the piano playing is rubbish on it. The vocals just not. It's just I don't like it. And yet it's still my most viewed video most weeks. So I'm going to make a new version today to go along with this video. I feel like I want to do the song justice, so I'm going to redo Tennessee Whiskey and see how fast it takes me to get as many views on the new one as there are on the old one. And once it's got more views than the old one, I think I'm going to probably delete the old one. But yeah, just that's what the story takes me back to. It's a daft wee story, but that is, when I hear that song, I always remember that, working with great vocalists like LJ McLean when she came in that day, and other singers that came, and I suppose lots of students of mine over the years, that lots of people come and go, and then they maybe come back, or they go away on tour, or they go and do various things, and then maybe they come back, or maybe they don't come back, never see them again. But you just, all these memories that you get with people that you work with, and good laughs, good times in my old studio. It reminds me of the scumbags at Universal Records and being cancelled from Facebook, all because I wanted to cover, a couple of songs. Madness, total madness. The music industry is so broken. It is just, and I'll do an episode on that at some point when I just want to have a bad mood rant one day, because it's just a disaster site, with lots of stupid rules and lots of terrible music that's been released. Anyway, that's for another day. As always, I'll talk a wee bit about the song and the singer very quickly. The song, Tennessee Whiskey, as I mentioned, it was written in 1981, the year I was born, by Dean Dillon and Linda Hargrove. The pair decided to write a song together after meeting each other at the famous Bluebird Cafe in Nashville one day, and they apparently went back to Hargrove's house to write the song at 4 o'clock in the morning. I love those little rock and roll stories. The song was first offered to George Strait, or George Strat, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but he turned it down, and it was taken on and recorded by American country music artist David Allan Coe, as I said, in 1981. His version is recorded in a very traditional country style, much more country than the one that you'll probably know better, or maybe not. Maybe you were a fan of David Allan Coe way back. But his peaked at number 77 on the US Billboard Country Singles chart. So not a major hit, but it did okay, it did well. It was then covered 2 years later by George Jones, who had a bit more success with it. He got it to number 2 in the Billboard Country chart in the US, and I think it got to number 1 in Billboard charts in Canada. And I think if you weren't a fan of one of those artists, the song was probably kind of forgotten about for 30 years. Until, of course, Chris Stapleton recorded a more R&B / country version of the song for his debut album Traveller back in 2015. And it's strange that this was the song. I always think it's strange that was the song that really made Chris Stapleton a household name. He had some success before that in different bands, but that was the big hit. That was the song that made him really, really famous. And I always think it's strange because he'd spent so many years. He spent a long time writing songs for other people after being signed by Seagale Publishing way back in 2001. So 14 years of working as a songwriter for a publishing company. It's quite ironic that his first major hit was, as a singer, was a cover version of somebody else's song. But anyway, nonetheless, a bit of irony there, but it became the song that he's most famous for, and also gave the song a platform that was in another stratosphere to where it had ever been before. A huge multi-million selling record all over the world. So amazing cover. A lot of people don't realise it was a cover, so I hope I've educated you a little bit with that wee bit of a story. Chris Stapleton's voice, as always, I do a wee bit of a vocal coach analysis. How do I analyse Chris Stapleton's voice? It's just one of those wow voices, like you hear Chris Stapleton's voice for the first time, and as I said earlier in the episode, you're just like blown away, immediately blown away. It's got this rasp, it's got that wonderful sort of fry distortion from the false vocal folds. It's got power, but it's so soft and fragile as well when he brings it right down and brings the volume down. You feel like he's just singing to you, he's telling you the story in the song. The way he emotionally connects with the lyrics, as I talk about a lot with different singers, it's one of the most important things, I think, as a singer. But he's just got like loads of range, incredible head voice, incredible chest voice, an ability to move between them through his mix. Amazing at riffing, as we know from the famous riff in Tennessee Whiskey, which you can hear me doing very soon, as I plug my own video on my own cover version. Just an amazing singer, amazing voice, so impactful. The minute you hear it, you're just like immediately wanting to hear more. I think that's certainly for me. I know everybody's got different tastes, but I find it difficult to imagine that there are many people who don't love hearing Chris Stapleton's voice. It's just an amazing voice. The gravel, the power, the emotion. Awesome. What more can I say? So yeah, there's today's episode. A wee episode about music law and copyright and all that nonsense. And hopefully you click on the cover version link to hear me doing Tennessee Whiskey better than I did all those years ago on that first video. And hopefully it gets more views than the first one has. It might take a while, but yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. As always, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, comment, share. If you're looking for vocal coaching, you don't have to be in Glasgow, Scotland to come and see me. We can jump onto Skype. I see lots of people all over the world on various FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, whatever, just whatever video we can jump onto. And it's pretty easy to organise that with me. So if you want to have some vocal lessons. But yeah, please hit the subscribe button. Come back next week, of course, after watching the link here for today's cover. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.